to write about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist. Am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
That was great sounds of Watts with Outside on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ. Easy, you are always better with introductions more than me. Who do we have with us today on the program?
To truly capture a moment, a true moment, a moment that could literally take someone's breath away, is by far the fullest form of art. And I believe that people can live artistically. I believe people that are artists. I believe people that are professional artists. I believe all of these things exist. But when you can capture that particular moment, and when I tell you, we're going to jump in the Wayback Machine a little bit, and we're going to head all the way back to MAC. Okay? And I want you to walk us through going through this incredible display of this amazing, amazing artwork. And there sits a recreation of one of the most iconic albums of all time covers. And at that moment, Preston, you looked at me and you said, "Hey man, we got to get this artist on the show." And I was like, "You're right, we do. This is absolutely breathtaking." And from that moment on, it became our goal to seek this artist out, to have them on the show so they could sit and tell their story. So I want you to put your hands together, not if you're driving. If you're driving, please keep your hands at 10 and 2 because we don't need any accidents. But mentally, I want you to put your hands together for the fantastic, the amazing, the absolutely breathtaking Violeta Ware is here with us today. Welcome, bienvenue, and how's everything been?
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I've been blessed. I can't complain.
That's good. Now, your story is such a very interesting story because you didn't rush to the art schools or any different things like that. You are a U.S. veteran, and are you a double veteran, if I remember correctly?
I am a double veteran. Yep, I was
so nice. You did it twice.
I did, yeah.
And now you are, a visual artist. Now, what is your favorite medium?
Ooh, that's like asking a musician what's their favorite thing to listen to, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think my favorite medium is probably visual art. As far as which medium I like to use the most, I would have to go with acrylic. I actually mix acrylic and oil. So if I were to make a word for it, I'd say like, I don't know, acrylic/oil.
Right.
Because it dries a little slower, but it allows you to blend better. And so I like to mix those two mediums together, and that's my favorite thing to paint with.
Wait, I want you to copyright this word, oil acrylic.
Ooh, I like that.
There you go. It's yours. It's 100% yours. Market it the way you want. T-shirts, the whole 9 yards. It's yours.
Thank you. Got that on radio too. So
exactly. So now, what has brought you from the military mindset into the creative aspect of it? A lot of people will talk about the true nature of a warrior is to be fully balanced. And I know that it goes all the way back into Shogun times, where not only were the samurai amazing swordsmen, but they were also amazing artists. Their haikus were absolutely beautiful. Their origami, their flower arranging, all of this, because you had to keep the balance. You had to create as much as you destroy. Is that the balance of how your life has kind of panned through, or was it just something that happened on a Tuesday?
And easy, I feel like somebody sent you or something, because yeah, you hit it right on the head. I was one of those kids, I'm half Black, half Filipino.
Mm-hmm.
So my Asian side, my mother made sure we started martial arts real young. And my brother and I grew up watching Bruce Lee films and yeah, going back to the most ancient teachings of being like water, knowing the full mindset of a warrior. Dancing is also a form of being a warrior. You have to be balanced in all areas, relationships and all those things. So I took that to heart at a very early age, and I carried that throughout my adulthood. So I didn't really step away from being a warrior. I just kind of express myself differently now. I've been an artist since I was a child, self-taught. I started my own company, and I'm blessed to be in business as an entrepreneur for over 16 years now. It's crazy saying that. But I became an entrepreneur at 14 before I knew what it meant. And then, joined the military, 16, needed a waiver from my parents. And then, like you said, I loved it so much, as a crazy Marine, I went back and did it for the Army. Then I, signed my life away with the government. So now I'm finally stepping out of that and working as a civilian, and I love it. And one of my balances to battle the chaos in my mind is to stay rooted as an artist. So yeah, right now I'm using my art as a weapon. And so I have a lot to say, and it's pouring out.
That's awesome. And I'm and thank you for being, a lot of people don't really embrace, or I start talking about the dynamics between warrior and artist and how that they do complement each other. And they're like, okay, you're being weird. You need to stop right now. But it's so true. And so from a Marine into the Army, and now having your own company, being able to call your own shots. No, people are no longer telling you what foot to put down and where. How have you brought a little bit of the artistic chaos into, what was very much a military scripted life?
Oh, I think it looks different, every stage of life. The show that you guys came to, at MAC at Firehouse Gallery, was curated by Raheem Nelson, and I'm so grateful to the connections that I made through him. T. Montgomery spoke about this at that show about the balance of an artist and how we get inspired in different mediums. And right now, I'm expressing that as a visual artist, but it is a balancing act, similar to a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of artists. I have a day job. I work full time, for a university here as a construction engineer. And then, as soon as I get off, I rush to the warehouse and I do a lot of creative things. And after I finish there, I go home. I do the balancing act of, being a regular person. So it's a work in progress. It's a journey, and I'm still learning it,
Well, that's being, you're fully being like water. In every situation, you're becoming that situation and becoming the best form of yourself in that situation. So you're accomplishing it. So high five. So now that you're embracing and making all these creations and doing the different shows, and what is life like for that? What is it like balancing? Because a lot of people sitting at home right now that need to hear this, are like, there's no way I can do this. I work full time and I have no energy to do it. I can't believe in myself. You're doing it. Not only you're doing it, but you're doing it with style, with flair, and with grace. How are you doing that?
Well, first of all, thank you. Because sometimes I don't think I am doing it well or with grace. So to those people, I would say, if you feel like you're doing it wrong, you're probably doing a good job. Nobody has the blueprint, and we all have something to give. People called Picasso crazy when he was living. Same thing's true for Bruce Lee. They told him he couldn't be an actor and a martial artist and a this and a that, and he did all of it. So I strive every day to be my true self. I talked a lot about, going on mental health leave after, I moved up here into the civilian space, and I realized I was going through a lot mentally, and, battling through my divorce and tore my Achilles tendon. I had my Bruce Lee moment. He was at the peak of his career. He broke his back, and I kind of resonated with that because I was like, going through a lot of stuff. I had like accomplished my job in the military or in the government space, excuse me. And then at the peak of my career, I got an opportunity to move up here, and it was the same job I was doing. It was just as a civilian. And I was like, I didn't have a degree. I had been in school for a long time, but I was like, this Ivy League wants to hire me to do what I do here. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Let me try it. So I just kind of flowed in that direction. And one way or another, I ended up where I was. So I feel like if you just, really focus on what it is that moves you. For me, it's my faith. I always try to make sure, like, if I do something, I'm not going to regret not doing a thing later. I said, if I pass up this job opportunity now, am I going to regret it years from now? And I was like, yeah, I will. So I went and I did it. Same thought process when I, started working in the government sector. It was like, hey, I was a civilian and I had this cool opportunity to go like work for the administration. I was like, yeah, I want to go work at the White House. Am I going to regret that if I don't do that? Hell yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I do that, you know. So I just move into the direction that I think is gonna serve my future self. And I feel like as long as you do that, you're gonna be on the right track, you know. So I would say to people who are doubting themselves, trying to make sure everything is perfect before they do it, and trying to wait for other people to validate the thing that they're doing is cool, waiting for a certain amount of likes, certain amount of follows, I would say just go out and do it. Who cares if only 1,600 people follow you, right? Like,
Right.
you know, I don't have a big following because again, I was in the government space. I couldn't even have social media, you know, but I have thousands of clients all over the world. And it doesn't matter if people know that or not, because those people know. So just do it. If you can change one, if you can move one person, inspire one person by doing what you're doing, that's the purpose that you have in the world. And the world is a better place because of it. So just do it. Do it for yourself if you're the one person that you're going to impact. And I promise when you make that decision, other things will fall in line for you.
So now you open up this beautiful door. And again, thank you for being as open as you're being with us. So who was that one person that inspired you?
Oh man.
You opened this door.
I did. I opened Pandora's box. Well, you know, in past interviews, I've always credited my grandmother, who I named my company Ware Designs after. Her name was Brenda Ware, and at a young age, she inspired the young artists in me, right? Like we all had that one teacher, that one coach, that one whoever that used to always tell you everything you did was good, even if it wasn't. And for me, it was my grandmother. You know, like she inspired me. She taught me how to write in calligraphy. She was also a painter, and she was an entrepreneur, but she had a day job. She was a great mother, great everything, right? And then, you know, I lost her tragically when I was in my undergrad, right after I got out of the Marine Corps. I felt like my world, you know, was caving in. And so to pull myself out of that grief, I had to find out who I was without her. And when I did that, you know, when I took that journey with myself, I realized that, you know, she lives on through me. And for me to stop doing the things that inspire me, that are her legacy, it was a disservice to myself and to her. So I started doing the thing that I loved, and I renamed my company after her. And I was like, everyone's telling me I got to pick one thing. I got to go to college. I got to do this. I got to do that. And I was like, I don't have to do that. She didn't do that. I don't want to do that either. I'm going to do everything. So originally my company was named To Wear For You. It was a t-shirt company. But when I got to college, I was a broke college kid, right? It's first gen college. I had a scholarship, but it didn't cover like my tuition fees. Like it didn't cover my laptop. It didn't cover gas. It didn't cover my car. Like it didn't cover anything. So I had to work for other stuff. And so I was like doing anything, you know, picking up murals, painting, you know, shoes, painting whatever would pay me to do, I was doing it. And so I got into this broader realm, started learning how to do Adobe because I was in college for architecture at the time. And I was like, oh, now I can do logos. So I started picking up stuff. And I realized like, wow, I'm a designer now. I'm not just an artist. So when I really found myself, that's really when I named my company after her. And then a couple years later, I found out that my grandfather on my mother's side actually did the same exact thing. He had a t-shirt company and I never even met him. He passed away before I was even born. And I asked my mother, I was like, why did you never tell me this? And she was like, you know, you never asked, but also it doesn't matter. Like I see so much of him in you. And that's why I just passed down the knowledge that I had. She was the reason why I knew how to make profit and this and that. So I don't know if there's really one person to credit anymore. And so now I make sure when I talk about the one person that inspired me, you know, I speak of my entire family because I feel like who we are is a culmination of the people, places, and things that we've seen and experienced. And for me,
So true.
you know, it's like I am my ancestors. I am, you know, the faith that I feel flows through me, which means I'm connected to everyone. So I am everyone. And so I don't know that there's one person that truly inspires me more than myself. And myself is not myself. It's everything that inspires me. So hate to be a fortune cookie, but that's
No,
that
no, it
was
wasn't a fortune cookie. It was just truth. I mean, you weren't
Yeah,
predicting
it was just
anything. You were
truth.
just saying what it really is, but you're saying it through your own point of view, which was amazing. Now you went to college in Virginia?
Yeah, so I went, man, I'm like the professional transfer student. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
currently in college online in Norfolk State. Shout out to my HBCU.
Oh,
I'm
currently.
trying to,
Okay.
yeah,
Got you.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm on my 13-year journey to finish up this bachelor's. Um, yeah, I was blessed to get my associates in Maryland,
Right.
2 years ago now. And I got that after I had way over 120 credits. I went back to school and they
Mhm.
were like, "Hey, you can get an associate's." I'm like, "Sure, I've never had a piece of paper that says I have more than, 60 credits. Let me do that." So I got the associates in May of 2022. And now I'm like, you know what? I still want that bachelor's because I paid so much money for it. So I figured if I was gonna keep paying money, like I wanted to give it back to HBCU. So I enrolled in Norfolk.
There you
Okay.
go.
There you go. There you go. And you will get that degree.
Thank
Well,
you. Thank you. I received
now
that.
the $6 million question is though, what is the degree in? What is the bachelor's in?
So the degree
Mhm.
is going to be an interdisciplinary studies degree,
Mhm.
which basically means I have too many credits and I want credit for all of them. Um, my three majors are interdisciplinary studies,
Right.
business management, and
Mhm.
construction engineering.
Okay.
So yeah,
There's gonna be some graduation party.
man. Hey,
I'll
listen,
tell
you
you
guys are gonna
that.
be invited, okay?
Listen,
Because
listen.
13
If you
years in the making, man. 13 years in the making.
all I ask is just a party for each major. That's it.
Oh, I can
That,
make that happen. I
that'll
can
be a
make
good
that happen.
weekend. That'll be a great
Okay.
weekend. That's all I gotta
Wait,
say.
hold on. Let's look at from a creative point of view.
There you go.
A room, one party, but a room for each
Oh,
major,
each
Mm,
major.
right?
Oh man, I
Like a
there you
like
go.
that.
particular theme that rolls through there, different stuff like that. Plus, how you got there to get like the hallway, you can have like
Mm,
some painted shoes, and that walk down the hallway, and all these different things, and your artwork to lead to that aspect. Because all of these things are the buildup on that.
Easy, you have really like you put it up there, so now I gotta go for the moon and do it.
Oh, see, I'm not the person to be around for that because I say a lot of things and a lot of them come out for like, oh, this is a great idea, and sometimes people run with it. T
That's really dope.
actually,
I'm
yeah,
gonna run
T
it. I'm
actually
gonna
said
run
that
to
about me.
that. I'm gonna
Oh,
run to that. Yeah, I'm gonna
good,
make that happen.
nice.
Oh man. As you should. As you should on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, and my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, the man who always has a plan. His name is EZ BlueZ is in the building. Easy Blues continue.
Well, no, it's so incredible to see like the evolution of a human being, and you now also, um, I look at as you are living the creative life. Because even the 9 to 5 is construction, and you're building things, and there's an art to that. There's an art to the mathematics of the measurement. There's an art to all of it if you're really looking at these different type of aspects. So you are living that life. It's no longer just entrepreneur or 9 to 5er. The person in which you are is the whole creation, which is that's incredible to see, and that's incredible with so many people that are living someone else's dreams. You're out there actually living your own, and you fought hard for that. So we want to give you your flowers now for being able to pull that off. I know that you're looking at it in a small scale maybe, but in the large scale, I haven't accomplished really anything. That's a lie, and the devil is a lie. So we're gonna rebuke that and send that back to you that way, and really understand, what it takes to be yourself 100% of the time. I'm one of those people who believes that you should live so authentically as yourself that your mere existence makes someone feel uncomfortable.
Mm,
So
yeah.
yeah, I'm a weirdo. It's fine. Um,
I think we're all weirdos in a way.
We are. We
We
are.
are
We're all
all
mad
weirdos.
here.
Absolutely. We're all not there. But speaking of just like multi-talented and like going out the backs, like how many instruments can you play? Like I'm looking at your Instagram right now. I'm seeing you playing the guitar, drums. I don't know if it's a keyboard. Like, how multi-talented are you when it comes to music?
Oh man, so you bring up another interesting form of art, which is
Right.
modeling, right?
Right.
So interestingly enough, I was capping real hard with the guitar film. I do not
Okay.
play guitar.
Really?
I actually, yeah, so I'll explain why. I will
Okay, go
explain
ahead.
why. But I only play, so I play the French horn, trumpet, and the piano.
Okay.
Um, I play marching versions of those things as well. So
Hmm.
I guess total I'll play like 7 instruments.
Mm.
But for the campaign that I was promoting, which you're looking at right now,
Yeah.
I actually was running for Ink Girl magazine cover,
Oh,
and
wow.
they were in partnership with Music Cares, which is
Hmm.
this wonderful nonprofit organization. And so while I was trying to like promote it and get people to vote for me, I hate like asking somebody to do something,
Yeah.
without giving them entertainment. So I was
Uh-huh.
like, let me just do like a mini photo shoot every week and focus on a
Right.
different aspect of why I am a part of this. So like the first week I focused on my tattoos, right, which is an art form. And I was like, showing off my tattoos, letting everybody know what I got tattoos of, why I love tattoos, why I'm running for Ink Girl magazine.
Hmm.
And then like the second week I was focusing on my non-alcoholic whiskey brand, Southern
Hmm.
Spirits. And I was telling people about that, how I got into it, how the money, if I win, will go into it and what I'll do with it. Then the third week, I was like, I want to focus on Music Cares. So
Hmm.
I circled back and let people know, hey, I'm a musician. And this is also why I love this competition, because every time you donate, it goes to Music Cares. So I was just like playing around with all the instruments that were at my disposal in the
Hmm.
studio where I was, getting photographed. And the guitar was one of the instruments, that I picked up. There was like a drum there, and like I picked up like some drumsticks, and I know how to do some things. Like I know a paradiddle and little
Yeah.
minor
Right.
stuff, but I'm in no means a drummer. And I took the moment to just like highlight Sheila E. And she was somebody
Mhm.
who inspired me as a kid. Like
Yeah.
there's this rock woman who's like out there doing this thing with Prince, and she's just like rocking it. Every time you see her, she's just head so dressed like a woman, but she's playing the drums, which was
Mm.
associated with guys at her
Right.
in her time. And so yeah, it's just like I did stuff like that to kind of give a nod to women because it's Women's History Month. So like
Hmm.
the guitar, I did that because her, who's also Black and Filipino,
Yeah.
recently just played at the Super Bowl. So I was
That's
like,
right.
yo, I want to bring attention to the fact that her is walking Black history. Like she literally has her own like Fender guitar, I believe. Like there's a line
Hmm.
of the guitar. I think it's a Strat, and
Yeah.
she
Just
like
based off her. Yeah.
yeah, she's the first woman to have that guitar, like a guitar of her own. And I'm like, yo, that's big, but nobody's talking about it. So I wanted to highlight that too. So that's why I was capping. It was for a good cause.
Whatever. Well, it's so funny too because as he's mentioning that, I was going
Yeah.
to make the joke that if they're if they're watching, when you jump onto a Zoom, you can put your pronouns on there, and I was like, oh, it wasn't the pronoun; it's actually part of her name. We have her here. Um,
Yeah.
so, I was gonna try to make that joke, but I think honestly, during the pandemic, her did the D'Angelo where there wasn't even a verses, it was just D'Angelo doing the whole time, and her did the tracks, and it was so good. It was so good. Ah,
Yeah, I love her. She's so amazing. She's such a talented musician. Like she definitely embodies for me like the energy that Prince had when he was in his
mhm,
heyday,
Hmm.
but
yep.
in a woman's body. And I just love that. Like as like I said, as a Black Filipino woman, like seeing another Black Filipino woman be like the Prince
Mm.
is, I think, just a testament to diversity and inclusion
Yeah.
and like how we are moving into a different space socially, and I just love it. It inspires me so much, just to see her out there. So it was pretty dope. And then of course I'm from Georgia, so shout out to Atlanta. I love that Usher brought Atlanta to the Super Bowl, and
Mhm.
and it was just really inspiring for me to see that. So yeah, I've been promoting her like all year.
Of course. But that's what's so interesting, and like, here you are showing us the different forms of the visual art in which you invest your time in, whether it be modeling or painting, which was done earlier, or the photography in which then you turned into painting, those different type of aspects of it. What is the next show looking like, and what is the next collection like? What can we expect? I love to kind of challenge a little bit, and so what can we expect with this next evolution?
Mm. Yeah, we spoke a little bit about the evolution of artists at that Max show, and I was telling you guys how like I'm kind of walking into it. I don't really know what it'll look like.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I mean, I'm on the tail end of throwing my first curation. I did an immersive art experience to celebrate Women's History Month. We made
Mm-hmm.
history at District Co-working Space downtown New Haven. We used the space and we were the first art exhibit that they had there at the building. I took that opportunity to not just exhibit my art, but I partnered with my organization to highlight Black voices.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked a bunch of artists that were local from Connecticut that were women of color, had them come in. They showcased work of, women and what that meant for them to be a woman and how they use their voice as an artist to incite social justice changes and issues. And I did it on 313, which is, the anniversary paying homage to Breonna Taylor. And so it was just a lot of things I did intentional for that show. And I feel so blessed to have the platform to be able to pass the mic to other artists as well. And it was a beautiful experience. And for me, I had a moment where I was like, wow, I can continue to do this. I can continue to give other artists the platform that I wanted people to give me, that I created for myself. And now I'm in a position to give that back. So I think a lot of things in my future right now, I'm really focused on giving back to the community, as well as showcasing visual art and really just documenting and inciting social change. Because I feel like we're in a time right now where people realize that a lot of things were happening around Black Lives Matter movement, then COVID, then they're coming back outside and they're like, okay, what do we do? Right. But I've been around people that just look like me. So what does it mean now that I'm with other people? And whoa, there was this thing happening before we got locked up. What does it mean now? And so I think highlighting the voices of everyone, working through issues publicly. Like I said, being on a radio station, talking to y'all, something I never would have done, in the past, but it's needed, and to your points, I think sometimes people take for granted the little things they do, how impactful it could be if you share it. So this is just me sharing now. And I'm in a stage of my life where I'm giving back, and right now that looks like, again, curating a lot of immersive art experiences. So you can expect that from me in the future.
Well, it's you've artistically become kind of like what some people say. As we grow up as children, we grow up to be the adults we needed. As we were growing, and you're becoming the artist you needed. That generation of, okay, now here's a hand back, and here's how to get from A to B to C, and this is the way to do that, and this is how important it is to file this particular piece of paperwork that states that this can or cannot be taxed. Like, a lot of people take that for granted, or that the other simple thing of going and having a conversation over dinner and making sure you keep that receipt, because that can be tax deducted and different things like that. That's the education we hope to provide kind of with this show, where we get to tell these incredible stories like your own, so that it will continue to inspire other people to go forward and move forward. What's the piece you're working on today, like right now? Because we're to give a little bit of a spoiler, the reason why we're teasing it a little bit is we were supposed to do this a little bit earlier, but you got wrapped up in the moment, and art took you over. And I think that is something that I don't totally want to highlight, because like I said, you're living and you're breathing it. So what was this piece? And is it something that will be show ready, or is it something that's going to sit in the vault, like the many, 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 many hours of Prince tape? We've mentioned Prince 3 times on the show, so he will now appear. Right? He will now appear in someone's dreams tonight.
Yeah. I love that for them. The purple rain never ends, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, so I'd love to share that with you. Again, I'm in a stage where I'm sharing now instead of keeping it to myself. And so, yeah, today, transparently, like I said, to continue to inspire the person that thinks that, I'm so unattainable in a place, I want to, bring it back down to a human experience. It's like, hey, this morning I woke up and I was feeling, I was having a bad day. I was like, man, I got so much stuff to do. I did this amazing event. I got to do stuff next. It's like now people are expecting something of me. I got to edit these photos. I got to do this, got to do that. And I was like, I need to decompress and do something for myself. Listen to a sermon on the way to the warehouse. And when I got here at the lab at Concord, which is where my warehouse is, ironically, it's like the lab or the warehouse. I call my space the warehouse because of my name, obviously. But I work at the lab. And so here at the lab, it's a Black business incubator, which is part of the reason why I came here to base my business here. And I love coming into the building because it reminds me that I can also own a building. So even at my level, I want to attain something higher, right? I want to be in a space where I can have a building where someone else can be inspired too. And so whenever I feel down, I come here to remind myself that there's still work to be done and I'm doing it, even on my worst day. So I came in here and I was like, all right, I got this mural to do, this amazing mural. So here at the lab, I was painting, like literally my space is being renovated currently. So I don't have a storefront to actually go and do stuff in. So I share this space with a lot of other people. And while I was doing that, I was like, since my stuff isn't up, I'll paint a mural for them. So I just started painting this mural. And, one day, again, like I said, for me, it's such a magical space to be in. All these other entrepreneurs are walking around like, wow, you paint? Like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. So then I'm picking up business just because I just decided to paint, and then the owner of the building comes in one day. He's like, hey, I heard you were doing this mural. Hey, I want you to do, I'm sorry, the director. It wasn't the owner. It was the director of the space. She comes in, she's like, hey, I see that you're doing this beautiful mural. We have this other space we want you to do a mural in. And she's telling me about how they wanted this wall to have a mural for like years. And they want a typical accent wall. And I'm like, what do you want? She's like, well, I want something to pay homage to James Baldwin, who's celebrating like 100 years of Baldwin, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, okay, tapped into the art community. I'm like, Culturally Lit is doing a lot of stuff right now for James Baldwin, highlighting all the literature that James Baldwin has. And myself, again, being at HBCU, like I definitely like to uplift, everything that in our past that is positive and highlight it. So one of the things that I do to really pay homage to people that came before me is I research them, even though I know about them already. So when they gave me that task, I took a month of just researching James Baldwin. What made James Baldwin this iconic guy? And, long story long, I sit in that space sometimes just to look at the wall, to get inspired about what I want the wall to look like. Right. So, I kind of stopped myself from starting the mural because I still hadn't finished the other mural. And today, because I was down in the ruts, I said to myself, I don't want to finish that mural. I want to start that other one. And I was like, you know what? I'm my own boss. I'm going to do that. So today I decided to start that mural, and I literally just started sketching it up. And like I said, I kind of got lost in the, the sauce. And I was like, oh man, I forgot I had this interview. Like while I was taking a break, I checked my emails, right? And I was like, ooh, I had this interview. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm working on this beautiful mural. And I have decided again to give back. Someone gave me an opportunity to paint this entire wall. And I'm like, I don't need my stamp in a building that I already have a space in. Let me see if other artists are interested in participating in this mural. And all the ladies that I had at this curation, every last one of them was like, hey, I would love to come and volunteer some time to help you with this mural. So now that I'm starting the mural, these other ladies can also start to come here whenever they're available, and we can start working on this beautiful mural. And whether it takes a month, 2 months, 3 months to finish it, it will be here for as long as this building is here. So that's what I'm working on. And you guys are more than welcome to come and see it. Yeah. I know that they're going to make a big deal when it's done. And that's what I'm working on. That's how I got inspired. And I can't wait to show you guys what it's going to look like.
That's awesome. And obviously, I will say, hearing from what your day was like to seeing your energy for this and to know that it's the real aspect of it, it must have been some really amazingly therapeutic art that you had rock and roll in. And I can't wait to actually see it and to be inspired by it myself. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to show you guys what I'm working on. So,
do you feel right now in 2024, you are a part of being in a new art renaissance in New Haven, being a big part of it?
Yes, I do. It's funny being somebody who's from Atlanta, right?
Mm.
Uh, Being out here, when people ask me, why are you here in Connecticut? Um, I used to tell them, oh, there was a girl. There's always a girl, right? Like that's why I moved up here. But then I realized, no, it wasn't really her that brought me up here. It was my faith, because I prayed on the decision to move here. And one of the
Right.
things I did was I looked up, you know, the Black-owned businesses in Connecticut, because I was like, Atlanta, DC, Virginia, Maryland, these are the places I lived in, right? It's booming in all those cities. So I was like, I'm not going to do a detriment to my business by moving to a state where I can't thrive. When I looked it up, Connecticut is in the top 5 states for Black-owned businesses
That's
to
crazy.
thrive. And I would have never known that, right? Because no one thinks of Connecticut as that space. But being here, when I talk to people from Connecticut, they don't believe it themselves. And I'm like, Google it. I Googled it before I moved here. So being here right now, I know that I'm a part of a renaissance. I know it for a fact, and I feel blessed to be a part of it. I feel like every single day, you talk about like walking in your authentic self. I remind myself that Basquiat was just a guy when he was living. And I feel like the woman Basquiat, but I'm not Basquiat. I'm V. And that's very intentional for me, because I may not be famous today, but 100 years from now, I might be. And that's the power in that, and in knowing that within yourself. So yeah, there's something magical happening here in Connecticut. And I love that God brought me here for that, because for me personally, that's what I feel like was done. And I'm glad that I stayed after my divorce, because everyone else wanted me to go back home. Everyone else was like, why don't you just go back to DC? And I was like, no, like something is here for me. I feel it. There's something magical happening here. People here are so like, there's so much culture. It's so rich in culture. It's such a great space for me to thrive. There's beaches here. There's all 4 seasons. I was like, everything I've ever wanted is here. Why would I leave? I was like, I'm just having a hard time. Emotions are temporary. I was like, I'll get over it eventually. Like, I'll just paint some more, So yeah, I know I'm a part of a renaissance right now, and I feel blessed to be a part of it.
How much great paintings came out the heartbreak?
Man. So talking about like what's next, right? So I had such an explosion of paintings from the heartbreak. Again, like full story, I'm one of those people at the cookout where they come to me to tell the story, because I walk you through every step of it. So forgive me if this is long-winded, but
you are all forgiven on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, and my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ. Continue.
Magical.
Thank you, Preston. Yeah. So for me personally, when I took a deeper journey into myself, I was in therapy, and my therapist was talking to me because I was having like an artist block. Like I've always painted over all the years, that I've been a business owner. But I did commission paintings for people. And so doing commissions is like, it's so draining as a painter. And it's my most profitable thing that I did, but I used to cap it, because it would be so draining to paint for other people that I didn't want to suck the life out of it. So I never painted for myself. And so when I got to the place where I couldn't paint, I was telling my therapist, I was like, something is really wrong. Like I cannot paint. I was like, I can't even take commissions because I don't have the spirit to paint. And she was asking me, have you ever painted for yourself? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like I'll paint for myself. She's like, no, you paint for your business. You're painting for other people. Have you ever took a paintbrush and just paint it? And I'm like, no, I would never waste a canvas and paint by just painting something. I was like, I need to know what I'm going to paint. I want to make something to sell. And she's like, no, I'm going to give you some homework. She's like, go home, and I want you to try to paint what you're feeling right now. If you could not use your words and you could only use your paint, I want you to paint what you're feeling. And exactly. And I was like, wow, that's like paint therapy. She said, exactly like paint therapy. I want you to paint your experience of your heartbreak. So I went home, I shut myself up like one of those artists that you read about. And I painted for 11 days straight. I was like, I had a Mary J. Blige album, My Life on repeat. I was like crying, painting, trying to cook, not really, and just painting, crying a little bit, dancing, like just so mad. And so when I finished this painting, what I ended up painting was the beginning of a series that I called Eat, Pray, Love. And originally I named this painting Eat, Pray, Love. Pray with an E. And I loved movies, and I had watched that movie, and I was going through that whole thing. I was like, I actively participated in making my life this way. Why am I so unhappy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I named it that. I was like diving deeper into myself. And it was this beautiful painting that I did where I painted a frame on a canvas, and I painted a hand holding a heart, and it was bleeding. And it was just so powerful. I looked at it and I knew hands down, best thing I had ever painted. And I was like, man, I'm done. Like I was out of my trance. I was like, I'm gonna set it on fire. Like I was so mad, But it was therapeutic, and I knew it was something beautiful. And I was like, okay, what do I want to do with this painting, right? Because I had painted it for myself. So I was like, I can't sell it because it's for myself. So then I threw a birthday party for myself for my 30th birthday, which is like a milestone, right? And I was like, because I'm divorced, right? I have to throw my own party. So I was like mad about it, but I was like, I'm gonna enjoy it, right? I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna bring this painting to my birthday party and take a picture of it so I can sell it. And man, when I brought this painting out of the house, which I never did with any of my other paintings, right? I usually had my house is like a gallery usually, like stuff that I like for myself, I keep in my house. And people will come over and they want to buy it. I'm like, nope, it's not for sale, right? So I took this painting out of my house, took it to the cigar lounge in Bridgeport, where the guy that I met, the owner, Black-owned cigar shop, met him at Owl Shop, downtown New Haven. And I was like, hey, where are the Black-owned cigar shops? He's like, I have one. I'm like, dude, I couldn't find it. He's like, oh, I'm over here on Elm Street in Bridgeport. So I go, again, I'm not from Connecticut. I'm not biased. So I go there, I hang up my painting, and I'm just taking pictures of it. And him and all the guys he had there, all the other business owners, they start bidding on this painting to buy it from me. And I'm like, dude, it's not for sale. And he's like, nope, I'll give you this much. I'll give you this much. And they're going back and forth. And I'm like, okay, clearly I'm supposed to sell this painting today. So I sold it to the owner. And at the end of the show, he's telling me or at the end of it felt like a show because I'm sitting here talking about the art, right?
Right.
And they're like, what inspired you to paint it? So I kind of tell them, I'm not really too transparent about it. And then after everybody leaves at the end of the party, he's like, hey, the real reason why I love this is because I used to be a heart surgeon. And when I look at it, it reminds me of the freedom that I got leaving that space now that I'm a full-time entrepreneur. And I used to hold hearts in my hands. So when I see that, that's what I see, even though I know you painted it out of heartbreak. And I was like, wow, this guy is having a whole different experience from the painting. And I'm glad he took it off my hands because I wouldn't set it on fire, but like he gets to enjoy that painting now, and it inspired me. And then he commissioned me to paint another one with his hand. So it turned into a series, and I had never done that before, a series. So like that series, it started, or that painting, it started a culmination of multiple series. And there's like maybe 4 that I have right now in progress, including this mural. Again, this mural came about from that because I started painting for myself. As I told y'all, like I just wanted to paint something to beautify the space, and then it rolled into something else. So now it's turned into a community project. And like, I can't say enough about it, man. That one painting changed my life. And I'm really grateful for that heartbreak. That's my Mary J. Blige moment. Right. Shout out to my exes.
Nah. Listen, man, the best art comes through pain. Oh my goodness.
That was awesome.
No, that was a great story. I can't even go further from there. Easy, you're blushing. Please go.
No, it's super interesting because you lived out the full moment, and you get to see that here you told the story, and people can actually see that art is subjective. it meant something to you because it came from this really real place, then someone else was able to attach their feelings to it, and it becomes something else, something even grander than what you thought. And now you have this whole, you have this whole show that's going to be based around something that was very emotional and was something that you'd never really done before, because you'd always looked at that painting aspect as more of a fiscal type of way. And here it is, in its rawest form is where you see its truest beauty. And I think that by far is just such an incredible story that I just I really like that. And also, I can't wait for the miniseries on like those 11 days, because I feel like there's a whole movie involved in there. I see a bunch of pizza boxes, and then the pizza boxes start to like make into art themselves. I'm just putting it out there.
Love a good pizza. I love a good pizza. You guys got some good pizza in Connecticut. I will say that.
Thank you so much. It's good to know that some people love the pizza here in New Haven. I'm not going to say any names. It's good to know that some people love our pizza here in New Haven.
Well, you Northerners, everything's a competition with you guys,
There's no competition. There's no competition. None at all. There's no need for it. But there is, unfortunately, our producer is sitting and pulling the Apollo curtain upon us right now. But we want to give this time to you.
Absolutely.
V, please tell people how they can invest in you, how they can get in contact with you, how they can purchase and support some of your artwork and different things there. The floor is yours. It has been an honor and a privilege. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, Instagram is probably my most active platform. You can follow me at Ware is V. That's my last name, WareIsvi. Through that platform, you can find all my other pages. My website is www.bewaredesigns.com. And from there, you can donate to any of my causes. Right now, I am asking for donations for the warehouse, which is the facility here that I will be curating a lot of endeavors from. So again, support Black business, support the community, uplifting Hamden and the efforts that we're doing here with Concord at the lab. So yeah, that's how you guys can find me.
We got about 1 minute left just of this recording, and just let us know one thing you're really appreciative for.
I am really appreciative for the opportunity to inspire others. I am really appreciative for life. I feel very grateful to be here. I had a near-death experience recently, and it changed my life in so many ways. So I practice gratitude every day. And for anybody that's out there struggling, I say to you, all you got to do is take everything one step at a time. Being sober was the best thing that I ever did, and I apply that to everything in my life. Anything that you want to do, all you have to do is just do it one day at a time, literally. So keep going, keep pushing, keep inspiring. And thank you again for the platform, guys. I really appreciate it.
Most definitely. Thank you so much. On WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Preston, and my partner in crime, Long Island Raised, Elm City made, Mr. EZ Blues.
Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just discount? I don't know.